you're the average of the 170 people you surround yourself with.
Hello. Welcome back to the Wild Business Growth Podcast, presented by Hippo Direct. This is your place to hear from a new entrepreneur or innovator every single Wednesday morning who's turning wild ideas into wild growth. I'm your host, Max Branstetter, digital marketing dude at Hippo Direct, and you can email me at max@hippodirect.com for help using your podcast as a marketing tool. This is episode number 69, and today we have something short and sweet for you. Today's guest is Kate Erickson, aka Kate from Entrepreneurs on Fire. You may recognize EO Fire from back in episode number 19 of the Wild Business Growth Podcast, where we had Kate's partner, John Lee Dumas, JLD, on the show for 15 rapid-fire questions in 15 minutes. It was crazy. Anyway, Entrepreneurs on Fire is the award-winning podcast that has over 2,100 episodes. They get over 1 million listens a month. They've turned it into a 7-figure business. Kate also hosts and produces Kate's Take, the EO Fire audio blog, which is now well over 300 episodes as well. And they also have their daily podcast. So that is a lot of stuff to organize and keep in line and produce and create and on and on and on. Fortunately, Kate is a master at all these things. She's all about efficiency and effectiveness, and she has so many time-saving systems and tools and tips and tricks, and she's sharing all of that today. So it's time to get great, thanks to Kate. See what I did there? Enjoy the show. Alrighty, we are here with the engine behind Entrepreneurs on Fire, Kate Erickson. Kate, how the heck are you doing today?
Max, I'm amazing. Thank you so much for having me.
You are amazing. You hit the nail on the head. You had that plan, didn't you?
I did it totally on purpose.
So Entrepreneurs on Fire, you may recognize that name. We had your romantic partner, JLD, John Lee Dumas, on the show earlier, episode 19. And you guys are actually the first romantic duo to be on the Wild Business Growth Podcast. I mean, other than, of course, A-Rod and J-Lo, but, besides them. Yeah, so quite
awesome.
The honor.
That's exciting.
It is. I'll be flying down to Puerto Rico to get your autograph right after this.
Oh, sounds great.
So I want to start off with a completely random question, a little scenario for you. Let's say podcasts and blogs did not exist. They did not exist. You did not have the ability to start them. What do you think you'd be doing?
Ooh, that's such a great question.
Thank you.
I really dig it. Because writing is always my go-to. I love podcasting for obvious reasons. I'd be doing video.
Okay,
videos.
so you went with another content route.
Yeah. I mean, that was not the, okay.
No, it's okay.
You're like,
it's okay. No, that's just how smart you are.
Yeah, I'd be rocking probably like a YouTube channel. I'd probably be relying really heavily like on Instagram as like a go-to platform to get my content out. But yeah, I mean, if you want to go the whole route of like that, online business or like content marketing doesn't exist, then I'd probably be teaching like actual workshops, like in-person mastermind type workshops.
So what is it about the teaching side of things that appeals to you?
That's just so I don't really talk about this much actually, I guess, but when I went to college to become an English professor, I did my undergrad and my graduate degree in English Lit. And my dream was to become a college professor in English. And that was like my whole goal. I totally thought I was like on the path to do that. And I loved teaching so much because in my undergraduate career, I guess you call it, I was in the middle of my sophomore year and I went to check in with my, what do they call those people that you go to? Like a guidance counselor, I guess.
Yeah, those people. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What do they call those people?
I think that's their formal title.
it's kind of scary because I'm like so far removed from it now that I don't even remember this stuff. But yeah, so I went to my guidance counselor and they were like, if you don't pick a major, you're not graduating in 4 years. And I was like, oh my gosh, okay, I guess I better pick a major. And I picked English because of how inspired I was by my English professors. And so that's like really what kind of kicked off my love for that. And I'm like, wow, if that individual was able to inspire me to like have this deep love and passion for language, writing, literature, what if I could do that for students as well? And that's kind of what made me want to become a college professor. And then when that whole plan like fell apart and didn't work and I became an entrepreneur, I realized like how much of that I'm still doing. It's just not in the venue that I thought it would be. And so it's
Yeah.
pretty cool how that works out, huh?
Yeah, it's amazing because you're still doing what you're passionate about. It's just in a totally different, arena or stadium, if you will.
Yeah.
So one of the ways that you have made a name for yourself and you really, really inspire people is sort of, I don't know if you call it the op side of the business, but sort of the engine or making a business work and making it work in as efficient as time savingly, we'll make up that word, as
Mhm.
possible, and being just on top of everything and all the details and just making it function as efficiently as possible. So I want to dig into that for a little bit. To start off there, what would you say is the number one way that you save time with your business?
By like timing myself and setting very clear tasks that I want to accomplish each day. And I mean, I do that by planning the night before. So at the end of every workday, my one focus is to figure out the four most important things that I want to accomplish the next day. I write those four things out and then I estimate given like whatever baseline I have. And if I don't have a baseline, so if anyone's like just starting out with maybe this type of like process or system, you will just start with a baseline like as you go. But like, let's say I had on my to-do list for tomorrow that I wanted to do a review of one of our email campaigns. I'd probably estimate that that would take me about an hour. So I'm going to give myself 1 hour to do that. And I'm actually going to set a timer when I start that task. And I only have an hour to do it. When my timer goes off,
Mm.
that's it. So
Huh.
that is how I've like how I'm able to work so effectively and efficiently on a daily basis and get so much done is because I give priority to the actual tasks that I know I want to accomplish versus, think of going to your computer in the morning and being like, all right, awesome. Here's the four things I'm going to do today. Here's how much time I've given myself for each of them. Like, let's do this versus like sitting down at your computer and being like, what should I work on today? Like, well, I could check my email. Like, let me go into social media and see what's going on over there. Like, oh, yeah, I should probably record a podcast episode because it's supposed to go live tomorrow. Like, it just really helps with like that focus and discipline.
Yeah, it's really cool what you're describing because like it's literally time management. Like it's the definition of time management. And obviously that's so important. I mean, you hear so many people say that time is really more valuable than money. And so it's amazing how on top of it you are. When you do like when there's a task for like you were saying in that example that you run it out of time for or that you allotted an hour for, but you realize, oh no, like I'm only a quarter of the way of where I want to be with this today. What do you do? How do you manage that aspect of it?
So typically, like it really just depends on like the actual time sensitivity of that task. Like a lot of times, I'm doing something to move closer to a bigger goal, and so if that goal doesn't need to be hit for like a week out, then I already have one of my sessions for tomorrow set. Like I'm going to revisit that same campaign that I was going through. I'm going to give myself another hour for it and get through as much of it as I can. But in a case that it's like such a time sensitive thing that it's like it has to be done today, then I would probably see which of my other tasks I can push. And I'd give myself another like task session, like another
Mm,
focus session for that thing. But Max, the crazy thing is like, I could count on, I've been doing this like process, what I'm describing, this system for like time and task management for probably 3.5 years now. And I can count on one hand the number of times that I haven't finished a task in the time that I've given myself. And it's
Really?
so Parkinson's law. Tasks will expand to the time allotted. So if
Mm,
you sit down and you say, I've got 45 minutes to do this, like I better do it, then like something shifts, not only in your mind, but just in like your drive, your confidence. Like, yeah, it's just really incredible what it does. So I really challenge like, anyone who's tuning in, if you're not timing your tasks right now, to start doing that. Because to your point, like, I'm going to sit down tomorrow and I'm giving myself exactly 1 hour to get through that campaign. There might be situations where I don't actually get through it. One, that's feedback for me. Like that can become my baseline. Now I know when I'm reviewing campaigns in the future that it might take longer than that. But on the flip side, it's also, if you give yourself that hour versus like just sitting down and saying I'm going to review this email campaign, like how many different distractions and things can happen in anyone's given everyday life, that if I have no timer set and I'm just sitting down to like go in there and check it out, I guarantee you it takes me 4 or 5 hours. Hands down, no
mm.
doubt about it.
It's true. I mean, let's say we were going to make this like a 7-hour podcast. I mean, that would be kind of a lot, but like we'd make it fit the time there. It's like no matter what timing you set to something, it does fill up that time. So what about on the tool side of things? So whether it's about this sort of timing thing you're talking about, or it's just something on the ops and efficiency side in general, can you name a few of your favorite tools, like a couple of your favorites that have just made worlds of difference in how you're able to be so efficient and to manage the incredible community and audience that you guys have?
In terms of tools that I use, I kind of do like a combo of online and offline stuff because I'm a big believer in actually writing stuff down. I know a lot of people aren't. And so there are, like, of course, online tools that can really help with this too. But online, I use Asana. That's kind of like the project and task management software that and I've been in a lot of different softwares. Trust me, like I've done Trello, I've done Basecamp, I've tried so many different like project management and task management softwares. Asana is so simple. And that's why I really love it. Like there is a pro version with like more bells and whistles and things that you can do, but I've been on the free version for 5 years now and I use it. It's the first thing that I open on my computer every single day because you can sort tasks by due date. And so it really helps me stay focused. It helps me stay on top of things because if just randomly, like even, during our conversation here, Max, like maybe I'm going to be like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot that I was supposed to do that. I can very quickly just create a task for myself in Asana. I use it to keep myself accountable and to remind myself of the things that I say I need to do. But it also works with teams. So like I assign my virtual team members things in Asana. You can give it due dates. You can communicate back and forth in a comment section to like provide updates. So I really love Asana. That's huge. And then
Real quick, how do you
yeah,
how do you spell Asana?
it's Asana.
Okay, just making sure. When
Yeah.
you first said it, I thought you were talking about like a sauna, like a physical, like hot
Oh.
sauna, and I was like, that sounds like fun, but I'm not really sure from the team management standpoint.
I just put
But
myself in a sauna and see what
yeah,
happens.
that's it's amazing. These entrepreneurs, the tricks they use.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you were gonna say another one.
Yeah, yeah. So offline, I have a million online tools. I could talk about that for this whole interview. I'm happy to dive into like other online tools, but Asana is the biggest one online, and then offline, we actually launched a journal called the Mastery Journal a
Yeah.
few years ago, and it's all about productivity, discipline, and focus. And so that's what I use offline to hold me accountable. So, like those 4 sessions that I do every day that I was talking about, that's literally the format of the Mastery Journal. So, every single day it lays out those sessions for you, and you have a focus time and a refresh time. So, it kind of like just keeps you. It's a repository or like a way for you to track what it is that you're doing.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. It's you guys have put out some of the best between that, all the different journals you have. How about when you think about Entrepreneurs on Fire overall and the business and the community you guys have created, what would you say is the number one change you made from the way you manage the business, or maybe it's, the way you spend your time? What is there like a moment there or a decision you made where you really saw things pick up after that, and it just made managing this, your extremely complex business such more of an efficient thing?
Okay, I'm going to tell you one from like kind of the beginning, and then I'm going to tell you another one from like a couple years ago. Is that
Okay.
cool?
Yeah, I
Okay,
got my
awesome.
popcorn ready.
So at the beginning, it was understanding that it was understanding that we were going to approach each project goal thing that we wanted to create like in verticals. So from the very start of launching our business, it was never that we were going to launch a podcast and start a mastermind. It was never that we were going to start a mastermind and launch an online course. It was never that we were going to launch an online course and at the same time put on a live event. Like we've done all of those things I've just mentioned, but we've done them in verticals. So never did we do more than one of those things at the same time. It was all about focusing on that one thing, getting it set up and running, and putting a system around it so that we knew we were running it most effectively and efficiently, and then going on to the next thing. So John launched the podcast. After we had the podcast up and running, we launched a mastermind. After we had the mastermind up and running, we launched an online course. After we launched the online course and that was up and running, we started launching journals. After we launched our journals and we had a system for that, well, actually, I mean, that's a great example. Like we launched one journal and we figured out the process and we figured out the team that we needed and we figured out all the steps that go into that. Then a year later, we launched another journal. And like, how much easier was it for us to launch that second and that third journal now, knowing that we were focusing that one time into how everything was going to work and getting that set up, and then being able to repeat that process. So does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and the popcorn's still fantastic. But
Awesome.
you guys are experts at just kind of going all in on something and then learning it and then fueling that, and it just makes the next version so much better. And so you guys have done that again and again and again.
Yeah. And I mean, I just feel like that's something that holds people up so much is that they try and do like four different things at the same time. Of course, you're not making any progress or like, gaining any traction, because if you try to put your focus on four different things, all four of those things are going to just be average and maybe never even get off the ground. But if you put
Mm.
all of your focus into one thing, oh my gosh, the sky's the limit.
So you finally decide to start a podcast. Congrats! You've never been more excited. But wait a sec. You quickly find out this is way more of a time commitment than you initially thought. You're going to need someone that has you covered behind the scenes. That's where I come in. Email me at max@hippodirect.com and let's get wild. So let's get to a fan favorite segment called the Wild Business Shoutout of the Week. The Wild Business Shoutout of the Week! So Wild Business Shout of the Week, this is where we talk about a recent brand or campaign that is doing something really, really cool. And there is somebody that is actually one of your sponsors, but even ignoring that fact that you work closely with and you love, do you want to give a shout out to Clavio?
Yeah, for sure. Clavio. So Clavio is a sponsor of Entrepreneurs on Fire, but we've been working with them for a really long time. They're just a really incredible company who's like right at the heart of just giving, giving, giving. And what I love that they put together recently, like given the timing and everything, I love it when companies like really leverage time specific things to help enhance and like make their marketing so attractive. So what they're doing right now is they have a holiday planning go-to guide, and Klaviyo is really all about helping direct to consumer people connect with their audience in the most like effective and efficient. It's like our two favorite words today, Max.
Yeah,
Um,
I look at that like I have it taped on my ceiling. So every time I wake up in the morning, I just read those
yes.
two words over and over.
So they have this way with working with, again, specifically direct to consumer. So this holiday planning go-to guide, I'm like, that is so smart. They have this massive guide put together that's totally free, that's giving people all these tips around what you need to know about holiday shopping trends, how to set your goals and measure your results, how, like, what are
Hmm.
the different buyer personas, how can you best segment your audience. So like if you're doing direct to consumer, I mean, this is a massive, like, super valuable guide that they're just giving you. And then throughout the guide, what I love about it and why I think it's like such awesome marketing, is like so heavy content marketing, is that they're giving you all this stuff. They're giving you awesome tips. They also have like linked out resources within each of these areas. So like other checklist downloads, other blog content that they have to like really expand and go deep in the areas that you want. And then at the very end of it, they say, learn more about how Klaviyo can help you achieve your holiday sales goals. And they have an opportunity for you to sign up for a demo so that they can like get on the phone with you, show you how their software works and all of that. So I love the value first. John and I are big fans of content marketing. You know, we give a ton away for free to build that relationship with our audience. And, you know, putting the holiday aspect into it, I just thought it was a really cool play.
It is, yeah. They're masters at it, and so it's cool whenever you can do something that's special around holiday timing, as it's such a tough time to break through the clutter and create something cool. So they seem to hit the nail on the head with that. So I know we only got a little bit of time left. Would love to wrap up with some quick rapid fire Q&A. We got rapid fire with the queen of entrepreneurs on fire. You ready for it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was, I never heard yeah said like that. I like it. Uh, okay, what is the biggest way or the biggest thing you do to stay creative and keep your mind fresh?
I give myself time in the morning to just like sit with thoughts and like be able to think, versus like, you know, jumping into email or like getting on my computer right away. Like first thing I do in the morning is I go for a workout, and I really feel like I'm able to just like have my mind be open to brainstorm, to, you know, I'm not like being reactive.
Hmm.
So it's really helpful with just kind of like keeping that open.
And you do that in Puerto Rico, where you guys live. And
Puerto
so,
Rico.
what is what? I've actually never heard Puerto Rico say like that. What is your favorite part of living in Puerto Rico?
The community that we're in. We have the most incredible community of people. We live in a area. It's in Humacao, is the city, but it's Palmas del Mar is the community that we're in. We have a WhatsApp group of 170 couples, people,
Huh.
individuals, entrepreneurs who live in this community, who are all like rocking their world, their own life in their own way. And it's just really amazing to, you know, you're the average of the 170 people you surround yourself with.
That's what that, as the saying goes. And you have traveled all over the world. So outside of the US, outside of Puerto Rico, where do you think is your favorite place you've ever traveled to?
Ooh, I love traveling so much. Like you said, it's really
Yeah.
hard to choose just one place, but this might be a recency factor. But we just visited a little town called Annecy. It's in France, and
Mm.
it's right on the Swiss border. Wow. One of the most beautiful places I've ever been before. I literally felt like I was in a picture book.
And not to make this a spelling bee again, but how do you spell Annecy?
It's Annecy.
Perfect. Awesome. Cool. Well, we'll include in the show notes, and Google will get some love there. But thank you so much, Kate. I know you got to run. This was awesome. Thanks for hopping on and sharing all of your amazing tips. You are the master of efficiency and effectiveness and operations and all those words.
Awesome. Thanks so much for having me on, Max. This was great.
Of course. So, where's the best place for people to connect with you?
EOFire.com.
Perfect. Simple enough. And then last thing, final thoughts. It could be a quote, it could be a line. You could say yes, whatever you want. Up to you.
Okay, cool. Wow. I have so many great quotes that I love and that I go to every day. But I've really gotten into affirmations recently. So I'm going to share an affirmation that I read this morning. And it is, I choose to be infinitely capable. And that's from Abundant Affirmations, is the company that I get these cards from.
Affirmative indeed. Thank you, Kate, for coming on the podcast. Thank you, Fire Nation, and thank you, Wild listeners, for tuning into another episode. If you're fired up and want to hear more stories, make sure to subscribe to this podcast on your favorite app and leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. You can also dive into our marketing and business growth resources and tools at hippodirect.com/blog and hippodirect.com/newsletter. That newsletter is the Hippo Digest, and it's your place for wild marketing ideas every single week. You can also come see what's shaking on your favorite social media spots at the handles Hippo Direct and Max Branstetter. Until next time, let your business run wild.
Bring on the bongos!